Hello, everybody. It's weekly tax talk time. Here we are on the 22nd of May and the first weekend after tax season. Good Lord Almighty, thank you. Okay, so I am going to move a couple of things around here a little bit. And one of the things, kind of jumping on here at the last second. So one of the things I want to do first. Oh, my printer's making noises. It must be cleaning itself. The machines are loose. So anyway, if you can hear that, sorry. Yeah, so it's 22nd of May, and that means that summer starts in a month. And the feeling of summer that kind of begins around Memorial Day is basically just 8 days away, really, 9 days. Well, okay, Memorial Day is a long weekend, so let's call it a week. It's 7 days away. So yeah, summer's practically here, and it's a good feeling. Things smell good when we walk in the woods nearby our house here, and it's awesome. So uh, extended tax season. How did everybody feel about that? Do I have anybody on, first of all? And I'd like to, let me make a comment here. Hello, everybody. Okay, so my comment works. So what's next for entrepreneurs, the small business people that I reach out to and help every day? We have 4 events per year that basically substitute what wage earners call withholding. Entrepreneurs have to do a thing called estimated taxes, and that needs to occur the middle day of April, June, September, and January of the following year. So 15 days after the end of the year is the 4th quarter deadline. Second quarter deadline, they do that weird. They actually put it in the middle of the 6 months, and that is coming up, and that's only 3 weeks away. See, June 15th is a weekday. It's a Tuesday. So I'll tell you what. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll call it 4. Well, really? Hang on a second. Oh, today's 22nd. Sorry. 1, 2. Yeah, 3.5 weeks away. So plenty of time. Estimated taxes are important, guys, because if you don't do it and you pay over $1,000 in tax next April in 2022, you're going to pay even more because you're going to have what's known as an underpayment penalty. And underpayment comes from not paying estimated tax. So it means you didn't do your diligent small business person with withholding, also known as estimated tax payments. So I know that the first one, April 15th, happens to fall the same time as the normal tax deadline. A lot of people just plain miss that because they already owe thousands of dollars anyway. Understandable. And that's why I think June 15th is kind of a big shining chance to get it together and actually make one large payment that covers a half a year if it is in your if it's in your business checking's financial budget. So let's say, for example, that you make $100,000. Your business clears $100,000 after all the ordinary necessary expenses. So $100,000, you're going to have 14,130 if you haven't elected S corp yet. Additionally, whether married, filing joint, or single, I think I've done the math on those, and there's about a $2,000 or $3,000 difference. But you're basically going to be paying somewhere in the neighborhood of about $25,000 to $27,000 in tax. Okay, so if you are heading toward a $100,000 a year and you skip the April estimated tax payment, and if you're not an S corp yet, of all those wonderful things that are coming together in this unfortunate perfect storm of circumstance, and you're looking at about $27,000 in tax, you may want to think about making an $8,000 or $9,000 payment to the federal government on or before June 15th. What that does is that offsets the a tax filing amount that you're going to owe in April next year. But it also puts on the record, and you're basically reporting to the federal government that you made an estimated tax payment on that date. So if there are, in fact, any underpayment penalty calculations resulting, even if you owe under 1,000, but you didn't pay enough in the first quarter, that you may still be looking at something like $50 or $100 underpayment penalty. It's all calculated based on when you make the payments as well as how much. So you can keep that lower if you can pay as much as is reasonably possible by each of these deadlines. And if you missed April, you really want to think about making a half-year payment in June. Now, why I said $9,000? You've got three. Oh, you know what? In fact, let me put it like this. If you're going to owe about $26,000, $27,000 and June 15th is coming up, it would not hurt you to make even more of a payment if you can. Now, I understand you're sitting there going, well, I don't have like $12,000 to just throw at the government whenever they want it. And it's like, well, first of all, we all live under the auspices of the 16th Amendment. You have an obligation to pay it. And if you don't pay it, that's great. But what happens is you end up being one of my back tax clients, and then you owe interest or penalties, and we're doing all kinds of things. And not only that, but you're paying an accountant a bunch of money too to get it all fixed up for you. So basically, any good auto mechanic will tell you that preventative maintenance is always better than costly repairs. And it's the same thing with taxes. So anyway, that's just my little soapbox speech on estimated tax. Pay what you can within reason. You don't want to overpay them either. If you believe that you're going to owe $26,000 and you can afford to pay up to $13,000 in June, then do that if you can. If you only got $8,000 or $9,000, pay that. Whatever you can afford. Whatever you can't afford, you'll have to make up in either the future September or January deadlines, or else you end up paying next April. But I had another greater point here. The thing is, it's difficult to know, depending on what kind of business you're in, whether or not you're going to continue to make that sort of money as well. So it's important to sit down and actually take a look at your books. And that's why for a lot of our people, we actually do both books and taxes. It's called CFO services. And what this does is it tells you month by month exactly how you're doing, but you can also take a profit and loss statement if someone's doing your books from any period of time in a year. And that's what I'm going to do for my handful of clients that are doing CFO services. We'll sit down, we'll do a January through May profit and loss, 5 months. Divide it by 5, multiply it by 12, boom. That's what we're guessing you're going to make for the year. And then we do your tax estimate based on that. Sounds simple. And it really is, but I understand something. And that is that some people's businesses are seasonal. And matter of fact, over half of my clients, I have a concrete guy, I have general contractor, I have a number of real estate agents and brokers. And what these folks all have in common is they have high seasons and low seasons. Additionally, there have been a lot of changes wrought because of pandemic economics. I know a lot of people are working on their homes, and it's very difficult to get a good contractor right now. That's not the worst business to be in. Real estate, on the other hand, it's crazy booming if you've got inventory to offer people that want to buy, or if you happen to be somebody that's listing properties and you're fortunate enough to have listings to be able to offer, then you're certainly enjoying life right now, at least here in the Front Range of Colorado, Denver, Colorado Springs area. Inventory's thin. I'm hearing stories about people that are selling homes for like $150,000 over asking with no appraisal and no inspection. First of all, I think that's utter madness. But the second thing is it's indicative of the way the market is right now. People want homes, and not many people are selling. They're staying home, and they're spending more on their homes to make them nice. Guilty as charged. We're doing it too. We're actually thinking about getting some carpet. So, but it's because we've been like stuck in here together with each other for over a year. And yeah, so it's like that. Now things are starting to open back up, and we're hoping the economy is doing the same. And Though the market's kind of dancing around like a lady holding up her skirts in a field of mice, it's kind of, it goes up a little bit, goes down a little bit, up, down, up, down, up, down, and you could fall on one side or the other of the political interpretation of that. But the main thing is the markets are weird right now because nobody knows what to think. Are interest rates going to go up? Is there going to be a housing crash in the next couple of years? A lot of things like that. So what do you do to prepare for it? Uh, uh, One of the biggest things you can do is make sure that you're doing good, intelligent tax planning. And that is just a matter of, do you know, you have a pretty good idea where you're going to be in 6 months, 1 year, 3 years with your business? Do you have the kind of business that has a potential to scale and grow larger? We have been blessed with the good fortune of people finding us the last year or two. And I know I share the same boat with a lot of folks out there. The economy is not dead by any means. And because of this, when you make more, you got to pay the governments more, particularly if you live in a state that has a state income tax, and 42 of them do, plus 2 more. Let me think, is that right? I think there's 42 of an income tax on business and 2 more that have an income tax on investment only. I know those 2. I think it's New Hampshire and Tennessee. Yeah, it is. So, yeah, isn't that funny? But I guess the whole point here is, oh, happy Saturday, Barb. How you doing? I thought she was outside gardening. She must be goofing off for a minute. I could not do this business without my perfect, wonderful wife, by the way. And in fact, if nobody's got any questions, I'm probably going to jump off and go see what she's doing. So just kind of got off on a little bit of a tangent. The estimated tax payment thing's pretty important. And we are, in fact, going to be assisting people not only with tax preparation, but year-round tax services. We've headed into that model as an exclusive business model, in fact. We're unfortunately unable to take on anybody that needs just one tax return done for the year. We're working with people exclusively year-round. I recognize that means that less people will come through the doors, but we'll be able to focus our attentions much more exclusively on the people that work with us already and who are coming to work with us in the near future. And there's a couple of you, and we're so grateful. So anyway, I don't do these as a sales pitch, but we are here to help you. And we can do your estimated tax payment advisories, and S-Corp elections is a very big part of what we do here as well. If you're making over 60,000 this year, and it looks like it's headed that way. I know some people that are making close to 60,000 in their first year already in 5 months. You guys want to get a hold of me. Let's talk about S Corporation, because I can save you half of the tax that you're paying now to Social Security and Medicare. That's simple for me because I do it all the time, and it's one of the most fun parts of this business. So I am going to go ahead and jump off if nobody has any questions. So basically, this is it. Does anyone have any questions about anything at all? June 15th is the next estimated tax deadline. And if you do have any need for year-round services, we want you to get a hold of us. Let me make this part easy for you. Facebook kind of will put you in jail if you over promote on your timeline. But all you have to do is, I'll just say it here in the video. I've got a cover photo. So if you click on my name, go to my profile, and then there's like this green thing that says click here to schedule time with me. Just touch the cover photo, and there's a couple different ways to get a hold of me. You can send me a direct message, or you can just go ahead and book time, and we can talk about kind of services we have to offer you and what your unique situation is, and see if we can be a help. We love these conversations and learn so much from them. And anyway, summer's coming, and next week's going to be great. I am going to make one final announcement here before I jump off. June the 5th, I am going to be spending time with my granddaughter, and I believe that she's actually going to be having a graduation party. So I am definitely skipping Tax Talk that weekend. Next couple weeks after that are kind of to be determined, but we're coming back next week on the 29th, and hopefully we'll have something real special to talk about next week. So until then, stay healthy and go out and do something good for the economy and enjoy the beautiful weather wherever you are in the country. I've lived in places where there's more humidity, but the flowers are starting to bloom on the trees and everything out east. I know a lot of people in like New York State, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and all you people out there in America, enjoy the better weather. Do something randomly kind for each other and have an awesome rest of your weekend. Until next time, bye for now.